Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another session here at Design Theory. I am Gene Perpelant and I'm joined with Rhett DeMille. He is with Palmetto Soft, and we are going to talk a little bit more about SEO, and especially tonight we want to talk about the plugin, the WordPress plugin, Yoast SEO. And so I wanted to make sure I bring back Rhett to the show so we could talk a little bit about that, because it's one of the most popular SEO plugins in the WordPress world. And funny enough, I don't have it installed on my website, which is WordPress. We're going to install it. We're going to talk a little bit about it, some use practices. We're going to talk about how it works in terms of ranking, how to use your keywords and where to use them, and how to optimize your pages. Kind of superficial. We're going to go a little in depth, but really keep it high level, because if you have specific questions, each website is going to be a little different, right? And so we're going to want to keep it high level, and that way if you have any specific questions, you're going to want to put those questions in the comments or contact myself or Rhett, and or really more so Rhett, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So Rhett, thanks again for coming on, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
This is going to be good. It's going to be good.
It is.
Like I said, it's funny. I get questions about it all the time, and I actually install Yoast SEO on pretty much all my client sites,
right.
And I kind of just do it and kind of let it go. I don't really get too much into it. I kind of give them some pointers and some ideas that I think that they need to do to help optimize or set up the plugin on their pages, but I don't really know everything about it. Like I tell them all the time, here's what if you really want to get into this, you're really going to want to hire someone to do it for you effectively. But so tell us a little about what you do and what your company does with SEO and the plugin.
Yeah, my company primarily does digital marketing and search engine optimization,
right.
And we work a lot with WordPress websites, which is what the Yoast plugin basically rides on.
Right.
And you build in WordPress as well.
Right.
So I would say that Yoast is a very important aspect of doing SEO with WordPress.
Okay.
It is really, I think, in the easiest way to describe it, it is a search engine friendly tool.
Okay.
It is a guideline. It's also a platform that shows a developer or a site owner, these are the things that you need to do to your website to keep yourself search engine friendly. Okay. Search engine friendly is the ability of the search engines to be able to come into your website and recognize things in a standard way.
Okay.
You've got so many things done, for example, in your title tags, your meta keywords, your title tags, meta keywords, meta descriptions. Your page content is not too short. You've got enough links on your page.
Okay.
You've got an XML sitemap in your footer. You've got 100 different things done to your website that the search engines like to see. And so at that point, you really are ready to begin SEO once you're SEO friendly.
Okay.
So it's important to know that I would say that Yoast will not optimize your website for you, but it will take you to the starting line.
So that's actually kind of key right there. So you're saying it will not optimize the site for you.
Right.
I think that's a pretty big misconception. That I think that myself, in terms of in the past, and we have clients that think that too at the beginning, where once we get this plugin installed, it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of setup. And it's there. That means I'm optimized. It means I don't have anything else to worry about. I can focus on other things. And that's not the case.
Right. When you think about optimization, you want to think about what, in a really broad sense, I am optimizing this website around. It needs to be usable. The website does. It needs to have great content, and it needs to be aesthetically pleasing or a great design. Well, Yoast can't measure that.
Okay.
That software and a lot of software is not that advanced yet.
Okay.
And it's not going to be for a long time.
Okay.
Knowing this, we have to basically, when we're optimizing a website, a lot of work is done off of the website in the form of link building and article writing and blog posting on the website, web page refreshing on the website, YouTube video production.
Okay.
All these things, along with social media posting and sharing, all of these things comprise SEO now. It's a very wide field.
Okay.
And the Yoast SEO plugin makes it very easy for the search engines to see all this stuff going on at the same time. But yeah, optimization is another step forward. Optimization is a strategy of a bunch of different activities built around research. Yes.
All right.
And so you're
so
right.
that's where you're talking about looking at the like using the Google keyword search tool.
Exactly.
You know, looking at in-depth or actually ranking keywords to see how many times they're being searched for, and maybe how many times you need to be using them on different pages of your website. Things like that.
I'll tell you this: if you're selling widgets, okay, and you have, let's say that you're selling 3 types of widgets primarily on your website. In widget A, you have a great price point on it, and you make more money on widget A on sales than you do widget B and C. Yoast is not going to know that. Okay, that's where your keyword analysis and keywords related to product widget A, and pushing widget A, and developing a very nice laid out web page with clear call to actions and things. Those are all the things that are going to make you money. Okay, Yoast is never going to know that.
That makes sense.
That's the kind of strategy that goes into optimization.
That makes sense.
But we definitely, like I said, we definitely use Yoast because it is a platform that just makes it very, very simple. Not easy, but very, very simple to work in.
All right.
You know, and it lines things up for us.
So let's get into some other things here. Now, let's just say that we've got it installed, which we're going to do it on my website. But for those that are watching, they've got Yoast installed. We're thinking about getting installed. How long after they've installed it, and let's say configured everything, should they expect to see some results?
Okay. Once you've installed Yoast and you have done normal SEO exercises such as routine blog posting, you have written a lot of quality pages in your website. You've submitted a lot of good content to high authority websites that have accepted that content and linked back to you. And also a lot of people have linked to your YouTube channel, for example. You got all these different things going on, okay? Along with the Yoast installation. If I had to say it, I would say 3 to 4 months would be the normal time to see, you know, an increase in traffic. Now, this is totally dependent on the keyword itself and the competition on the search engines, because if you go to Google and do a search for a keyword and it says 20 million results, that's 20 million pages in Google's database that you have to get past to get on the first page.
So in other words, you getting in there right now, after that 20 million is already there, you're way far behind in the
you imagine starting off dead last with nothing, and you got to get past 20 million pages. Well, if you see, when you do a search for a keyword and you see 500,000 results, that's a whole lot easier. You know what I mean? In a lot less time to get a first page ranking. So we like to choose keywords, and I don't want to digress and get onto the SEO like keyword analysis. But what we try to do is in our campaigns is we want to select keywords that have lower competition, or what we call low hanging fruit. So that we can get those quick rankings for our clients. Once we get what's called a footprint in the search results, then we go after the bigger competition keywords.
All right. Good to hear. Now, it's good to know that it's going to take about 3 months, because typically I usually say that with any marketing plan, you really want to give it about at least 3 months to kind of see some kind of results, bad or good. But it's nothing that you should see something overnight or over the next couple of days. You know, it is going to take some time. But I do believe what you're saying too, that it's not just setting it up and letting it go. You really do have to add some other measures, like creating regular content on your website, so that way, you know, the bots come back and are re-indexing your site, and also using social media to continue to drive traffic to your site as well.
They do. And I'll give you for instance, for example, of something to be wary of. Yoast is a, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this through this conversation. Yoast is a great tool. We use it. We don't rely on it as our crutch, though.
I see.
Okay, and I don't think it should be relied on as a crutch or the end-all be-all. Okay, here's an example. You have a web page, and Yoast says your web page content is too long. Okay, it may be over 300 or 400 words, and Yoast says, well, it's too long.
So it'll tell you your page content is too long. That's interesting, because you would think that having more content
But Yoast does. You're right. But Yoast doesn't understand what is good content, average content, and bad content.
I see.
So Yoast is making a general thing that says across the internet, a 300-word page, for example, is where you want to be. Now, if you've got a 1,000-word blog post or a 2,000-word blog post with a really interesting subject, and you've done a lot of research, and you've got some good pictures, you've got some good videos, you've got a lot of good stuff going on, people are going to read that entire post. While they're reading that, they may be socially sharing it. They may be ultimately linking to it. And what also is happening is, if you have Google Webmaster Tools or Google Analytics installed on your website, that is measuring the visitor stay time on your pages. So that 2,000-word page that you really did well is going to rank very, very high. Okay. Yoast will tell you at the very beginning you did it wrong.
I see.
But that's where you don't want to always say, "Oh, I got to have every page to be exactly this." What's more important to know is that short content or brief content is not good.
I see.
Long content, they're not going to penalize you for. But if you're going to write long content, make it quality. Make it quality, and you can make it as long as you want to.
All right.
Yep.
Good to hear. Now, speaking of that, because we talked about how that affects your blog post, is it essential for you to, because I know that the Yoast plugin actually has an area on each page, as well as these blog posts that you create, for you to configure that page specifically for the SEO content that's going to be on that page. Is it vital, or is it necessary to go in on every single one of those pages and configure or update or edit Yoast with all of that stuff? For each and every one of those pages.
You can set up what's called a template in Yoast, and it will basically, it'll follow the same template. For example, on your About Us page, it'll put the About here, it'll put the Us here, and it'll configure it, and it'll use that same style template on every single title tag throughout the website. That's if you set it up to do that. I always recommend doing every page individually. Okay?
Because every page is going to be different.
It is going to be different, you know, and set it up individually. Make all your content original. And your meta tags should all be original. You don't want to do this or do the cookie cutter technique.
And I think that a lot of people kind of want to do that, you know, because they really want to kind of get in and get out. And so it sounds like, and I've heard it too, that where you can install this type of, you know, these types of plugins, and you can configure it the wrong way, and it actually can do damage, right?
Well, if it's not so much doing damage, you're not being able to compete with higher performers. And so, in a degree, that is a form of damage. You know.
All right. So, before we finish this out, I wanted to make sure that we spent some time talking about the on-page analysis. It's probably something that a lot of our viewers are more confused about, because on every page they see this red, yellow, and green light. That's possible, and probably for a lot of them they see this red light and they try to do a lot of things to try to get it from red to yellow to green, but don't really know how to do that, let alone what does all of this mean, even if they're putting in all the information that's required from the plugin. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Right. I look at it as a user face. They just it's something that Yoast created very easily, like a visual reference of things that you need to do. You could imagine if they didn't use colors and you are not a technical person, you'd be looking at all this technical stuff going, what does this mean?
Right, exactly.
So I think the red, for example, meaning you've got to change this with, for example, you have no images on your page. Well, what images do, for example, is they warm the page up. They also tend to increase visitor stay time through Google Analytics, increases your search result rankings because you have a better website. So the red things are the things that you really need to do, and you don't need to overkill it when you do it. But you should just address it. The yellow things, I would also address those. And if you have any questions, the person can do their own research online about, you know, what does this mean?
Because I saw like some things where it's like you have a score number of 65, or there's not enough outbound links, or maybe no outbound links and things like that. Like,
certain, you know, for example, outbound links. Certain pages or all web pages and websites should only have a certain number of outbound links, because what that really tells the search engine is you're not really an authority on what you're doing if you're having to reference all these other websites. Okay? So you want to have a certain number of outbound links on your website.
Okay.
Maybe you're pointing to Google, maybe you're pointing to Home Depot, or something that's related to what you're talking about. But you also want to have inbound links coming in too, people referring to you. So that's one of the things that they'll say, like, you may have too many outbound links, which tells a search engine, hey, you're
trying too hard.
Well, you're trying too hard, but you're also not talking in an authoritative manner.
Okay.
So you need to do more research on what you're doing and lower that number down.
Okay.
Right.
Let me ask you this then. Earlier you talked about having let's say a 2,000 page or 2,000 word blog post.
Right.
And so obviously that's long, where typically, the Yoast plugin may say that, oh, this is too long, and maybe it'll grade you as red or maybe even yellow.
Yeah.
However, the content on there is fantastic, and there's a lot of shares on it, and it's ranking pretty well, or starting to see it rank pretty well. Like, how do you, should you just ignore some of these things, or is this just kind of like a, I know you said it's a little bit of a guideline, but how close should we follow, what we're seeing on page with what the grading is?
I'll say this in the most humble way. Most senior SEO people, they don't use SEO. They don't use Yoast at that level.
Okay.
They know, for example, if a team puts a lot of effort into the content of a page, they don't care if Yoast says the page is too long. They know that we've done a lot of great things on this page. We're gonna have a lot of viewers. We're gonna have a lot of visitor stay time. We're gonna have a lot of conversion on this page if possible. Fill out this email form. I want more information, or even call us.
Okay.
So, but for people who don't really have a deep understanding of SEO, they may be gratuitously writing.
Okay.
They may be writing for the sake of writing and not understanding what value writing means. You see?
Yeah, yeah.
Or writing for that customer out there. So Yoast is saying, hey, all things being equal, let's keep it at 300 words as a guideline.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's a recommendation, it's a guideline, but like I said earlier, Yoast is a search engine friendly tool, which is very valuable, but it should not be under the assumption that this is going to optimize my website.
Right, right.
Yep.
Okay. So, lastly here, let's talk a little bit about some advanced features that we briefly talked about right before we got started with this, to tell you the truth. What are some advanced things that people may take part in?
Things like robot no-follow, no-index tags.
Wait, stop right there. So explain that. What is a robot no-follow? For those that don't know, what is a no-index tags? What does that mean?
Without getting too deep into this for the non-developers out there, I'm going to kind of skim over these things. What content should be indexed, what content should not be indexed. And those are the things behind the scenes that tell the search engines what you should and should not index.
Okay.
Things like canonical tags, which the non-www or www version of the same page, those are things called canonical tags and canonical issues. It does that.
I have heard about that being an issue in Google. Like, you should know about that.
It can
be duplicated. Yeah.
And this can help you out a lot with that.
Okay.
It can also help you out with Yahoo Site Explorer, Google Webmaster Tools, Bing Webmaster Tools, and the integration of those platforms into your website.
Okay.
HTXS files. These are a lot of technical things.
Okay.
XML sitemaps.
Okay.
And a whole lot more. There's also a paid version of Yoast.
Okay.
And the three main upgrades that it gives you are, number one, it gives you better technical support.
Okay.
You can actually call people and they'll talk to you. They have a very good response time.
Okay.
It has a lot of video tutorials on what these things are about and what they're telling you to do. So if you not only see what to do, it'll give you a video tutorial.
Ah, okay, that's helpful.
So yeah, so there's that level of customer support. There is what's called a redirect manager on there. If you're going from an old site to a new site, or you're changing over a bunch of new pages, there's a module that really helps you line these pages up. And what it ultimately does is it tells the search engine, here's the old page and the old content, here's the URL, here's the new place you should look, and here's the relationship between these pages. So it makes it very easy to do that. So there's a
now, I know that there's a lot more that still could be talked about this, but we're kind of running out of time, and so I wanted to make sure that we, pay attention to that. where can people find you to get more information about what they should be doing specifically on their website with with Yoast SEO?
PalmettoSoft.com.
Okay.
Palmetto like the tree, soft like software. PalmettoSoft.com. And give us a call, or please fill out our email on our contact page, and we're more than glad to help you in any kind of way. We love talking to people.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of information and a good team that'll help.
Fantastic. So. Great. You guys keep watching. We still have more of the screenshots that we did with installing the plugin on our website, on the Design Theory website, and so that way you can kind of see how it works and on a really basic level, so that way you can follow the same way. And then if you have any questions, obviously with web design or photography, you can reach me. My name is John Papillon with Design Theory, and see you next time.